Do you want to immigrate to Canada and you're wondering what is the best way to come to Canada? Is it through study? Is it through work? Or is it through permanent residency or the express entry program? Believe me, you have come to the right video as I will be telling you the differences between these three routes of coming to Canada. Oh, na, na, na. Oh, it's PASCOKE again. Hello guys, and you're welcome to the journey of a Naija boy. My name is Pascal Oki, but you can call me Pascali that you already know. If you're new here, I say you're very, very welcome. Thank you for joining us. Before we continue, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. For those of you that have been with me on this YouTube channel for a while, I say thank you for always joining me, for always coming, for always watching the video. I would like to appreciate you for your subscription because I have just clocked 20,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for watching and liking this video. Today, like I said, I will be talking about the differences between the study route, the work route, and the express entry route of coming into Canada. The first difference that I'll be talking about is status. What status do you get when you come through this different route? If you come through the study route, you're going to be identified as a student, meaning that you've gained admission into one of the numerous universities or colleges in Canada, and you're going to be identified as a student in Canada. If you come through the work route, you're going to simply identify as a worker, meaning that you got a job offer from one of the numerous employers in Canada. So you come here as a worker and you identify as a worker, and your status here is a worker in Canada. If you come through the express entry route, what you will identify as is a permanent resident of Canada. You will be referred to as a permanent resident of Canada, meaning that you've earned the right to live, work, or study in Canada. The second difference between these three routes of coming to Canada is the requirements. I'm going to be telling you the basic requirements for each of the routes of coming to Canada. If you want to come through the study route, the basic requirement for coming is an admission letter, is an offer of admission. Sometimes it is called conditional offer letter, meaning that you have applied to one of the universities or colleges in Canada and you have been offered admission. And so the basic thing that you need to even apply to come to Canada through the study route is what we call an admission offer letter. Mind you, it is not only the admission letter that you need or the offer letter that you need to come to Canada. You still need to put together a full application to apply for a study visa that is going to bring you into Canada. However, the basic requirement, or the number one requirement for even coming through that route, is to have an offer letter from one of the schools in Canada. The basic requirements for coming through the work route is for you to have gotten a job offer, meaning that you need to have an offer letter from one of the numerous employers in Canada. You need to have yourself a job offer. You must have applied to work with any of the employers that you have in Canada. Most people do not really think of this route as one of the best or one of the easy route of coming to Canada, but believe me, it is one of the good routes of coming to Canada. You can apply for a job wherever you are and get offered a job, and then you come to Canada based on that offer letter that has been given to you. The requirement for coming through the express entry route is what we call an ITA, invitation to apply. If you want to come through the express entry route into Canada, you will be given what we call an ITA. After you must have submitted a small application on the Canadian immigration website, submitted an application and it has been reviewed, you will be put into a pool of other applicants that have applied. And once your application has been chosen, you'll be given an ITA, meaning that you now have the option to fully apply to come into Canada. So an ITA is the basic requirement for coming through the express entry route into Canada. The next difference I'll be talking about is the entrance into Canada. What do I mean by your entrance into Canada? If you come through the study route, on your entry into Canada, you'll be issued what we call a study permit. A study permit is what makes you to stay in Canada for the period of your study. You must have been issued a study visa before you can leave your country to come into Canada. The visa is what will allow you to travel, to get on the plane to come to Canada. But on your arrival to Canada, you'll be issued a study permit, and that permit is what makes you stay in Canada. That's like your legal paper for staying in Canada. And so you'll be issued a study permit that is going to cover the period of your study in Canada. Sometimes you get like an additional 3 months or so after the completion date of your study. So that is what you get when you get into Canada. For the work route, you're going to get a work permit at your point of entrance, and the work permit, sometimes it may carry the name of the specific employer that employed you to come into Canada, and so you can only work for this particular employer. However, if your work permit is an open work permit, that means that you can work for any other employer while you're in Canada. You're not streamlined to working with just one specific employer. So be mindful of your work permit if you come through the work route. See what is written on it. Can you work for a particular employer only, or can you work for other employers as well? And one of the things I always tell people is that once you're in Canada, try to be as legal as possible. Do not do what you're not expected to do. However, if you come through the express entry route, you'll be issued what they call co-PR, which is the confirmation of your permanent residence. Sometimes it is issued to you before you even leave your country of residence. However, once you get here, you will be verified, and upon your verification, a PR card will be issued to you. Sometimes it is not issued to you at your point of entry. It is given to you after you must have submitted a Canadian address. It will be sent to your Canadian address, and that is what you get at your point of entry. The next difference that I'm going to talk about is about work. Work, what do I mean by that? How long can you work, or for how many hours can you work in Canada? As a student, if you come through the study route, you can only work 20 hours, and it is always stated on your work permit. Do not do more than 20 hours. I know people that have been in trouble because they've done more than 20 hours. However, be very, very sure that you're not going outside the rules or the stipulated hours that has been stated on your study permit. If you come through the work route, you can work for as many hours as you like, because the work route, meaning that you came to come and work in Canada. If it is for a specific employer, it means that you can only work for the hours in which your office or your organization is open. However, if it is an open work permit, you can work as much job as you like. The last but not the least is the permanent residence route, or the express entry route. If you come as a permanent resident into Canada, believe me, you can work, you can school, you can study, and you can choose not to work. And that is like the best part of coming to Canada as a permanent resident of Canada. The last thing that I'm going to be talking about is more or less like, I thought of combining this together, but then I'm going to speak about it as credit facility, or your credit option. There's what we call credit score in Canada. When you come into Canada, Canada operates on a credit system. What do I mean by a credit system? It means that you need to be able to borrow and also return back money for you to be able to live comfortably in Canada. The credit system is such a system that allows you to build points or scores over time, and your scores guarantee or shows to other people that this is a person that is worthy of getting money from us, or getting loan from us, or anything. So now let's talk about the credit facility or the loan facility options, or the difference between all these three routes of coming to Canada. So if you come as a student to Canada, believe me, you have no business going for any loan or any credit facility. The only thing that should be that you should be aiming to even use at all is a credit card, and you will easily get that. All you have to do is go to a bank once you arrive in Canada. Once you must have done your SIN registration, which is your social insurance number registration in Canada, then go to a bank and open an account and ask for a credit card. The more you use your credit card and the more you return the money back into your credit card, the more points you accumulate over time. As far loans, I'm not sure that you can actually access any student loan or mortgage loan or even car loan as a student. So be careful not to even jump into that option. But for credit card, you can collect as much credit card as it is available for you to collect. Just make sure that you manage them as good as possible. For the work route, the credit options or the credit facilities that are available to you are the ones that are available to the students, which is the credit card. Of course, you can open bank accounts and also get credit cards from different banks as much as you like, provided you're using it properly. And also, in some cases, you are even able to access some car loans or some mortgage loan. However, you need to be careful of the interest rates, because in most cases, what we find out, or what I have noticed over time, is that as a worker, because you don't have a permanent status in Canada, you might tend to attract more interest rates than the permanent resident of Canada. So it's not as if those credit facilities are not available to you, but be careful not to get into deep trouble with the high interest rate of things. Sometimes you don't know when you're getting it. You feel like I'll just be paying this so amount on this so car. But once you come to the realization of what the interest rate will amount to at the end of the day, you will know that it is not something that you should have jumped into. But believe me, try as much as possible to explore every options that are there for you too as well. For the permanent residency route or the express entry route, you are more or less like the luckiest people to come to Canada, because when it comes to credit facility, you have a lot of options, from credit card to line of credit to mortgages to car loans, and they come at different interest rates. They come at even nice interest rates, depending on how well you've used your credit facilities over time. I've noticed and I've had some friends come into Canada and wanting to buy a house immediately, but however, they've been told that they've not built up a credit score for themselves, and so they need like a little bit of time to build some credit score for themselves and get their credit worthiness in check before they can actually apply to get mortgages and get other types of other credit facilities or other loan facilities. These are the main differences that come to my head. If you have another thing or other questions that you want to ask me, please put them in the comment section. Believe me, I'm going to answer all your questions. Before that time, what is the easiest way of coming to Canada, you would ask me. Based on these things that I've said, what is the easiest way or the fastest way of coming to Canada? Based on my experience, because I have lived here as a student, as a worker, and now as a permanent resident, I can basically answer the question. The fastest way of coming to Canada is through the study route. Listen to me carefully. The fastest way of coming to Canada is through the study route. But what is the best way to come to Canada? The best way to come to Canada is through the permanent residency route. But whatever option, based on the things that I've listed or based on the things that I've told you about these different routes, which one would you love to come through? That is now left to you. But believe me, you have the options. All these options are available to you, provided you meet the requirements for all of them. This is where I'll be drawing the curtain for today. If you have enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, subscribe to this channel, and also share this video with your friends that are planning to come to Canada. If you would like to talk to me, or you want us to spend a one-on-one time talking about the options available to you when it comes to coming to Canada, you can definitely get through to me via my website on www.pascoke.com. Once you get there, click on the menu, on the services menu, and you book a time to talk to me. And I'm going to get through to you via your best or your preferred medium of communication. So next time that I talk to you, I still remain your guy, Pascal Oke, or you can call me Pascali, that you already know. Take care of yourself. Bye.